Greetings and salutations, YouTubers and malefactors. We're back here at StopLogic Motorsports, and I guess technically I should be putting this on my other channel as well. StopLogic presents inspections and permitting. I'm basically kind of like a catch-all for construction related stuff, since that's what I do for a living. Not construction, inspection. I'm the bad guy generally. So we will eventually probably pop under this house into the deep dank abyss that's the plumbing repair on my house. But we're doing a goose of a different feather today. So you'll notice, to fix all the cast iron plumbing that we had in the house, the plumber had to cut out through the existing exterior wall and then plumb out all of this new Schedule 40. We replaced bunch of cast iron that was in the under the house that didn't survive the massive lift on the house. Basically, let's find a good way to put this. Basically, the house was 4 inches higher on this right side, and then the rest of it was significantly lower. And all this nearly 90-year-old cast iron plumbing did not survive this part of the house being lifted 2.5 inches. But the plumbing was pretty much ready to go anyway. That video I showed you of all of the rotted out plumbing. And that's what we were working with under here. So, probably pop down there a bit later. But for right now, we're going to tackle the issue of this exterior wrap. So, this is kind of like a common building wrap. Is this particle board stuff with felt on top of it. The most recent building material that would match this would be called Quiet Brace, which everyone kind of abandoned because it warped and had issues. But yeah, it's basically like a asphaltic felt or asphaltic covering over a particle board building wrap. So on the exterior of this wall, this is what you call a WRB, a weather resistant barrier. And you're like, okay, yammer. What's the importance of all this? Well, in my perfect, or actually less than perfect Donald Sutherland voice, water is the most powerful substance on Earth. It moves mountains, creates canyons, and it can definitely wreck your house. So every building inspector worth their salt makes sure that the water stays on the outside of their house. So all this foam insulation here has what's called a water permeability. Closed cell foam has a water permeability of roughly 2 to 10%, and open cell foam has a permeability of almost 60 to 70%. And what does all this mean? Why is this important? Well, if you were to just plug this with a spray can foam, it's basically like putting a sponge cake inside your wall. And think about it this way. You're out in the summer, if you're in a warm climate, and you have a glass of ice water. And what's on the outside of that glass of ice water is condensation, sweat. A building does the same thing. You have AC on the inside, you have a temperature differential from the inside to the outside building wrap, the building sweats. That's why you're required to have a air break here between the brick, give the water clear movement down and out through all of your drain holes. Well, you don't want any of that water getting into the wall, because you'll wind up with building wrap material like this that's water impregnated and quite nasty and kind of subject to falling apart. So now that I've done like a significant amount of preamble to this, and I've probably put half of all 6 people that are watching this to sleep, what we're going to do is basically re-establish a water resistant barrier, at least at this penetration, and insulate behind it. Unfortunately, given this old particle board stuff, there's not a lot of building wraps or tapes, elastomeric tapes, that'll affix to this stuff. It's kind of like trying to put tape on a pile of dirt. So what we're going to do, ooh, that was painful. That popping noise was my knee. is we're going to plug the abandoned line, and then from there we're going to take outdoor rated liquid nails, and we're going to cut this piece of weird cardboard looking stuff that's called thermoply. This is actually a waterproof, weather resistant barrier. And by the way, don't go onto job sites and just take this stuff, especially fresh sheets of it, because that is construction theft. However, if you find scraps of it in a drainage ditch or in the field surrounding a construction site because nobody properly secures their construction trash, I would say that stuff is kind of fair game. Now what we're going to do is take that liquid nails, we're going to cut a section of this T-ply to patch that wall, fit it on there with liquid nails, and let it set, drill a small hole in it, or cut a small hole in it, and then fill up the remaining gap with spray foam insulation. That way you have a water resistant barrier from the outside in. Kind of easy peasy. If I had more brick out, I would do like a proper step flash with like zip system tape or this wall flash, but I don't actually have enough room to do that. So we're going to cover this with a exterior rated waterproof seal. Kind of like a hardcore caulking. And it's not that kind of video, folks, so don't expect that. Alright, so we have our abandoned 1.25 inch, actually it looks like 1.5 inch cast iron line. Just giving it a good shake. And we're gonna fail to I'm gonna try and plug this hole. Try and get you guys a good. And basically we want to plug this hole so no critters or rats or anything comes up through that area. I'm gonna hit the bottom plate area just to be a little extra safe. And then we set our poly seal aside. By the way, unless it's NFPA 90A or B rated, don't use this to seal your top plate penetrations in new construction. It's not rated for fire prevention. This stuff actually will catch on fire pretty easily and then off-gas toxic fumes. If you want the poly seal that does that stuff, normally that stuff is orange. And you'll see a little deal that looks like a shield here. It says NFPA 90A and B rated. That means it's set for a reduced flame spread index and toxic off-gassing. A little bit of extra knowledge for you folks out there in internet world. And I know I should measure this, but I'm actually usually pretty good at eyeballing. So let's see. And what you want to do is when you make a drainage barrier, especially like with windows and stuff, you'll flash the sides and then the top. And when you stab in a window, you also have a plastic flange. You'll caulk the sides and the top before you seal it because you want to keep the water out of the house. That's like the #1 goal here. So we're working with roughly 18 inches. About 18 inches across and about a foot tall. And then we're going to cut for that 2 inch there. And the reason I like using T-ply for this stuff is you can basically cut it with scissors. Now all of you out there that are you know, married and such, when you cut this stuff, especially don't use your wife's nice scissors unless you want to experience what true terror feels like. That should be enough down. Let's see. Yeah, we need a little more down. Alrighty. And I know this is not perfect. I'm not doing a measurement, but this is just a patch job. This isn't a beauty contest in this case. This is a basically a hole patch. And we've already got a little hole there. We'll leave that open because we're going to put more foam insulation once this is cured onto the wall. Actually, I probably want it up top like that. Cured onto the wall. We're going to put foam behind it. Now, why am I not putting foam in right off the bat? Well, first off, I want the adhesive to stick to this old natty particle board building wrap. So I need this stuff to I need my liquid nails to cure a bit. Doesn't need to be a perfectly clean surface. That's the other beauty of this liquid nail stuff. I mean, it's construction use. Alright, so we're gonna cut. Let's see. Across like that. Just marking a reference here for the width of the pipe. I don't want to cut this like way too much. Alrighty. So we're going to and I do have some asphaltic flashing material, foam backed asphaltic flashing material for this. So I mean, we're in good shape. Let's give this a little stabberoonie and see how my eyeballing went. Good, but it needs to be a little bit higher to fit in there. So this is basically what I'm going to do is put some glue on it. Flex it upward into the hole around the torn parts of the building wrap and jam it into place, which got a little work cut out for me, and then flex it back into place. Alright, so we're going to take the liquid nails and liberally apply it. And since we're not doing corners or any fancy detail work, do a straight cut for just a massive amount of coverage on it. Now, like putting an air filter in a dirt bike, you want to make sure to fully seal the gasket, because this is going to be what keeps the water out of the house, in lieu of like an elastomeric flash. This is your elastomeric flash material. Then we'll kind of touch up around the bottom. The big thing is you want to make sure your drainage goes to the top of this product, or at the top of this product, and then down around the sides. Oh, I'm about to get really messy. I should wear gloves, but whatever. Up and over Oklahoma. Oh, that's gross. Let me pull my wedding band off. And jam and fit. Come on, get up in there. Ugh. Come on, we need to get a little higher on this. Am I caught on something? Oh, a brick tie. Well, that's certainly going to make that a lot harder. Alrighty. I know it doesn't look beautiful, but we've basically got a seal on the top and sides now. I don't feel any gap there whatsoever. And ideally with this product you want 3/4 inch overlap when installing it. So like if you lap these sides of T-ply, you know, I put 3/4 inch on it. So I'm being very careful not to nick the pipe here. And oh goodness. Alrighty, so we got pretty much everything where it needs to be, except for this little bit of T-ply needs to be creviced down. And we're gonna go grab a screwdriver, finish our elastomeric seal on this, and clean up a little bit. Be right back. Alrighty, making our way back to the scene of the crime. Alrighty. Dap up a couple of these cracks. Alright. Alrighty. Get in there. Give it some squeeze. Push it down. And then down. Give it some smoosh. And then around the pipe. Because we don't want to use spray foam there. We want to use something that's a waterproof elastomeric seal. So get in there and make sure you get the whole pipe. And for the most part, it looks like we got it. I clear the scum off there and all right. So basically from here, we give this stuff a chance to cure. Stuff a little something in it to, you know, encourage it a bit. And for right now, that's actually kind of an elastomeric coat. I'm gonna do a little bit extra on the top. Basically caulking your windows, except for this stuff is liquid nails, or waterproof liquid nails, so it's a little stronger than caulking. Alright, so here in about 8 hours I'll come back and hit those 2 spots of the spray foam and toss out my mission accomplished flag. I know it doesn't look pretty, but it's better than just stuffing this stuff in here and hoping for the best. So we'll come back a little later tonight and fill it up. Better not forget this either. So, not the most beautiful solution, not the most elegant, but it sure as heck is effective. So as of right now, we've got the gap sealed on the top with this elastomeric seal. Water will go on the top of the T-ply and go down the sides and then out to the brick pocket. And you know, should all be nice and dandy. I'm gonna give this a little extra smooch. Kind of feel around the top, see if there's any like open. Ooh, no, that's just a bunch of messy sealant. All right. It's a limited space to work, but I've achieved a nice effect. Now I'll toss this schmutz off to the side and come back to finish our grim task. Maybe a little later today I'll pop down the hole and show you guys what's up with that. Well, in the meantime, have a good one. Alright, we're about 4 hours into Operation Seal the Gigantic Hole in the Side of My House. That's not a very original sounding title. So, for our next trick, we're grabbing peel and seal tape. Basically, it's like an asphaltic based flashing with a foil component over it. Stuff's kind of messy. Not to be confused with the soccer person messy. I believe that's it. By the way, learned something interesting about a motorcycle product post that Highland Cycles did, talking about the hand of God. Speaking of messy and soccer players, it just triggered that recent memory. But the hand of God event where a professional soccer player ended up getting credit for a goal, even though he accidentally hit it in with his hand, but the ref didn't catch it. Whew. Yeah, this stuff is thick. So anywho, take this beautiful stuff apart. I'll clean up my mess after myself. So, when you're doing flashing, the most important thing to remember is think of it like a shingle. Oof, boy. You'll generally want to have the water run down, so you'll do the, well, if you're flashing the bottom, it would be the bottom, sides, and then top. Everything to make the water run down. Basically, I'm doing the sides and then the top because flashing the bottom is kind of a not really an option on this. Piece was never an option when it came to this. And I'm just using like an ooh-gob amount of flashing. Yeah, this stuff super sticky. Oh, kind of sneaking it into this crevice. Alright, so we've got our side on there. Nice and smashed down. It even sticks to this old particle board asphalt paper. And do another one along the side. And the name of the game here is to basically make sure that we don't have water being trapped on the top and sides of this. Oh, goodness. Oh, geez. Oh, Lord. Not a lot of space to work with here. Yeah, we hit that brick tie up there. It's not going to be perfect, but we just create a little drainage plane here. Oh, I gotta get off my knees for a second. Oh, this getting old stuff is for the birds. Just to clarify, I'm going to be doing the over 38 amateur class this year at TCCRA. I'm no longer a spring chicken, so to speak. After the foundation lift, we also got to tear out the old caulk and reseal these windows. Oof, that looks rough. And regrout all this brick. I think I probably will leave that to the pros. Alrighty. Oi. Stay. Good bottle. Run a slightly longer one across here. Boom, 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 boom. That is not a lot of room to work your fingers. Alrighty, so we've got the sides and the top done. I'm gonna do one more layer on the top just for good measure. Tell you what, there's a lot of times I'm very thankful I'm ambidextrous. That said, you want to, like, think of your siding on your house, how it's kind of like stepped a bit. You know, each successive layer, same concept. Come on up in there, buddy. There we go. Disclaimer, this is definitely not the easiest way to accomplish this task. I probably could have used with removing another course of brick to make this happen a little better, but and there we go. Get off of there. Alright. So we're flashing around the plumbing penetration, creating a nice little drainage plane. Doing the sides and then the top, not bothering with the bottom because the bottom will most likely attract and draw in water. And notice how this caulking is like a little bit flexible around that pipe. It's also part of the reason you do this. Whoa, easy there, B. And then once all this miracle goo in here is nice and dried up, oh wait, missed an important part of the step flash, shingling it. Once that miracle goo is all dried up and everything is nice and set, which apparently the cure time in these weather conditions is actually 24 hours. Huh, pretty crazy, am I right? 24 hours for the adhesive to fully cure. So there we go. I know, got a little bit of loop and just up and over and voila. It looks sloppy. It is sloppy, but it is properly flashed. Now that water is going to drain from the top of it all the way out through the brick break. Alrighty. Well, at any rate, that's enough gorming around on here. Later tonight or tomorrow, pop 2 quick holes and fill up all this foam. Well, in the meantime, see you soon.